Hello fellow glue sniffers and sprue snippers, and welcome back to Blitzkrieg Modelworks. I'm Bob, you know me as Darkland on the forums. How's it going, everybody? So we're going to do a bit of a tool review today about something that can potentially help those of us that find individual track links the bane of our existence. Now, for those that have not had the wonderful joy of putting together individual track links, some track vehicles, some model kits come with rubber band tracks. Sometimes, like this is from a Tamiya Cromwell, and you can see this one, this is how it kind of came, and I tried to fix it, and boiling water didn't work, nothing really worked. So these tracks are pretty much toast. So we're kind of stuck with individual track links. Now when I got this Cromwell, Fruil Model did not make individual track links. Fruil Model is a Polish company that makes white metal individual track links. Really nice, expensive, but a lot easier to put together than these glue togethers. I don't even know who made these. I don't recall. I bought these over 10 years ago. But these were runs that I had put together myself, and they're not overly straight or even. How you would put something like this together normally is you take maybe a piece of tape and you run it as make it a double-sided piece so it folds down like that, and then you line up your track links and you line them up using usually like a straight edge or a ruler or a straight piece of sprue if you can find such an animal, and you try and keep things as straight as you can, and you still end up with things that go warbly and kind of bend off one way or the other. So I came across something. I know there's a few of these out there, but this is from a new company out of Columbus, Ohio. Model Designs Ltd. Track Link Jig. I actually saw this on, and forgive me, I don't recall which, but it was one of the Facebook modeling pages that I'm on. So I ordered it, and it was $25 US plus shipping. It came out to, with current exchange in Canada, about 50 bucks. So once you take it out of the package, it's a very nice little sliding jig. The idea behind this jig is you can now, for example, we'll just close this up. Now the jig has, this is just a sliding arm. There's an Allen key here, a little grub screw that you can use to tighten everything down so it doesn't move anywhere on you. So what you do with this is you put the track's teeth down, you line everything up. My fat fingers can't really get in there. Oops. Normally I'd be a lot closer to do this, but I kind of have a tripod in between us. And you do this, and this makes things very straight in comparison, very flat in comparison. It does seem to have like a wax or a Teflon type tape here to keep glue from sticking. It is made of styrene. It's more of an industrial type styrene, but it is styrene, very nicely made. I would be lying if I didn't say I would prefer it if it was on aluminum, but the cost would go up quite considerably, especially for something made in North America. So obviously the guy who makes these makes them by hand, and I'll get a hold of him and see if he's willing to have me put a link. I don't see why there wouldn't be a problem with it, but he sells these individually. There was quite a few of us that bought them. Now, as you can tell, that makes things pretty darn straight. And then once you get however long a run you want to do, you just take your poison of choice and very carefully put a little bit of glue here and there and here and there and here and there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away for a moment. I'm going to do a run of these. Even though I'm not going to end up using these, I'm actually going to get Fruil model tracks for these. And I'm going to try something a little more complex. These are early King Tiger tracks that Dragon had originally put in their Panther 2 kits way back in the 90s. So this is actually, each link is 3 pieces. You've got the tread pattern link, then there's a filler link, and then there's these tiny little links off to the side. Now this isn't going to have any impact, this jig isn't going to have any impact on that. But it will have an impact on keeping all of these lined up, even though these don't have any teeth. But it'll keep all of these lined up, and these by default will line up in between these. So I'm going to just do a run, 4 inches or so of each, and then come back and let you know what I think of it. Talk to you in a second, guys. Okay, welcome back. So I've done a short little run of the Cromwell tracks, and just to compare here, you're almost right above the camera. So you can tell the run is a bit straighter, not a huge amount, but it is noticeable that it is a little bit straighter. The big difference is the alignment across the back. My hand on stuff on tape is noticeably more warbly than the straight one that was done with the Model Designs jig. And it was very simple to do. As you saw, I just kind of lined everything up, and I just used a size 0 brush. This is actually a 5-0. I don't know where my 0 went, but a size 0 brush, and I use MEK. You can just as easily use extra thin. In this case, you probably want to avoid using a fairly slow setting solution like that. You want something fairly quick. And like I said, you can do, what is this, 4-inch runs, 5-inch runs at a time. And if you don't let them sit too long, you can actually take them out, and they're nice and straight. And I'm trying to get this lined up in the camera so you can kind of see how straight everything is. Now these aren't completely set, and that's important because if you need to wrap them around a drive sprocket or an idler wheel while they're still wet, you just wrap them around the wheel and then hold or tape or do whatever you need to do to hold them in place until the cement sets. The only real issue I see with this with Link and Link tracks, and it's a problem whether you use the jig or not, is replicating sag in a track system. Basically, you're going to have to make sure that it's still not quite hardened like this. Still kind of, you can loop it and then kind of slowly massage it into shape. You might have to apply a little bit more cement to soften it a little bit. You don't want it. You want to make sure it's in place before you do that. Otherwise, you can easily pull it apart. This, I can give it a pretty good tug, and it's not coming apart. Really good. Like I said, it was $25 plus shipping out of Columbus, Ohio. Okay, cut away for a sec here to give some time for this piece to firm up a bit. So like I said, if you wanted to wrap it around a drive sprocket or the like, you can just do it like so and use tape or whatnot to let it sit until the glue fully dries. So that's it. It's very simple. You get from fully closed, fully opened. So like the biggest tracks I know of that you'd get individual links for, like for the E100, and they'll easily fit in here, no problem. So that's it for me. I like it. I'd recommend it for 25 bucks. I know there's guys that'll say, well, it's just a piece of styrene. You know, it would be nicer if it was aluminum. Yes, but it'd be like 2 to 3 times the price if it was aluminum. But then again, I mean, there's guys that don't think anything of spending 10, 15 bucks on, you know, a bottle of pigments or pre-mixed wash, which you could easily make yourself for much, much less. To me, it's a convenience product. It's one that I will use, one that is very nicely made. I honestly just don't have the wherewithal to make something like this. So again, track Link Assembly Jig by Model Designs Ltd. Recommended. I will have a link to get a hold of the gentleman who makes these in the comments below. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and thank you very, very much for watching.